Jenna, by the way, Jenna called me out. You need to give eye contact when anyone speaks to you. This is called respect. I was actually entering the Patreon and the email list on our Facebook.
You know, it's funny. I always talk to him about that. But normally, if he's not giving eye contact, it's literally because he's doing something. But I think that's still the same thing. Like,
no.
we're talking, don't do anything.
Well, the only chance, the only time in this situation, the only time I would be able to enter the information is when I'm not talking. So a few things. Number one,
it's called respect. She don't like it.
First of all, I completely disagree with you that we are here and got Trump because people didn't come out and vote. Technically, by the way, wait a minute. First of all, just so the conspiracy theories, because I've admonished Ty for this, this is not marijuana. Even if it was, it would be okay.
It's legal.
This is,
but it's not. It's
but you know, people want us to be.
Nicotine.
I think it's unprofessional to smoke weed on camera, so I'm just making sure people know.
Weed.
Yeah,
but it's not unprofessional if that's your platform.
Okay, but the point is, yes, technically, Trump was elected because less people came out for Hillary Clinton. 5% less African Americans came out for Hillary Clinton, 6% less Latinos, and 6% less aged 18 to 29. On the surface, that is true. Yeah. What I disagree with you on is we didn't get Trump because less people voted. We got Trump because 30 years of neoliberalism and its effects, particularly in those states, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. I covered, mostly without you, we weren't together yet, about 40 to 50 Trump rallies.
I think he generally said that, though. I think you...
No. What I'm saying is, I think Obama was saying we got here because of indifference. He used the phrases, the enemy of progress is indifference, meaning when people don't vote. But I think the difference is President Trump actually got more voters than Mitt Romney did in 2012.
Yeah.
I don't have the exact numbers, so correct me if I'm wrong. I believe 10% of Obama voters that voted for Obama switched over to Trump. So this isn't just a thing where not enough people came out to vote for Hillary Clinton against Donald Trump. This is a thing. Why did so many people come out to vote for a used car salesman reality TV star? And I could tell you because especially at those rallies in Michigan, I remember it so viscerally. Thank you, Desi Murgy, for the $10 in the super chat. Why even bother to discuss what Obama was saying? Politicians like him rarely mean what they say. He could just keep his hand off the DNC. That would be a net positive. And you think I'm cynical? I agree with a lot of that.
I think he definitely... I followed the DNC chair race, and I saw the effects of what he did with Tom Perez and how Tom Perez got the chair. So I agree with you. I'm not as cynical to say that he doesn't mean, well, to say in this speech that he doesn't mean what he says, I don't think applies. He didn't make any promises. I think what he was doing is giving a call to action, pointing out where we are, where we were, and how we can be better. I don't think that he was actually promising anything outside of, I promise you things will get better if you become involved.
Right, but to answer her question, why are we covering it? Because he's the former president. He doesn't give many public speeches anymore. Yeah. And it's whether you like Obama or not, it is very, very unusual for a former president to come out and bash. He was bashing Trump by name. That is very newsworthy. That's why.
We were walking to the store right now. We talked about how, because we were going back and forth about how I felt he needed to, and you were saying, well, it's not. I'm like, well, this is not normal times. Normally they don't, and it's not normal times. Like, he needs to step up. And a lot of people before it came on, like the pundits and everything, was saying they got word from his writers or staff that he won't say Trump by name, and he actually did. And I think not to say he did something miraculous, but I think he did something that I'm like,
But that's why I put the disclaimers, because there's a lot of what he said that I agreed with, particularly the racial stuff and the otherization. But here's where I separate from President Obama. And I have always said this. I said it at the Young Turks. You hear me say it all the time. Actions always speak louder than words, not just in politics, but in life. When you're dealing with friends, whether you're dealing with family, everybody has a different philosophy, but in my experience in life, follow people's actions, not their words. And the actions, of course, it's easy to play Monday morning quarterback and to look back and criticize presidents. Barack Obama's actions while he was president do not match the rhetoric for the most part. His actions as far as trying to make this a more inclusive country absolutely match the rhetoric. He was responsible. He was responsible for DACA and expanding the rights for undocumented immigrants to get citizenship, after a process. He was definitely, he came around to it. He wasn't at first for it. He was responsible for, same-sex marriage. Not the Supreme Court was, but ending Don't Ask, Don't Tell and those things. So as far as his rhetoric normally matched his actions as far as I would call it the social issues. His rhetoric did not match the actions when it comes to economics, when it comes to populism, and when it comes to really ending what Bernie Sanders calls the rigged economy. And it's not just Barack Obama. I'm not just blaming Barack Obama. What I was getting at, the reason Trump was elected, there was racism, of course. The reason he was elected was because people in those states that were critical had their jobs sent to other countries. I remember when I was at rallies in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. When Trump said the word NAFTA, it was like watching a pack of hyenas. They went crazy when Trump talked about repealing NAFTA. They went crazy when he talked against the puppets in the Republican Party. They went crazy. I'm not attacking them because most of them lost a lot. There was millions of jobs lost. There was millions of people whose economic futures who worked in factories for 20, 30 years vanished like that. That is, in my view, the largest. And if you look at the exit polls from the 2016 election, people's votes, trade was one of the biggest topics, and immigration was one of the biggest topics, because Trump has also expertly made people feel in those Rust Belt states that part of why they have lost their jobs is because of Mexicans and foreigners, rather than the U.S. government allowed corporations to write trade deals that sold those jobs offshore. I guess where I have a problem with Obama's speech, it's not so much, I think it was an eloquent speech, I think it was articulate, but to me, really what he's advocating, and no, he's not saying it in words like, yes, vote the establishment back in. Of course he's not going to say that. But the candidates that he is endorsing, the type of candidates that he wants to see in, are centrist to moderate Republican Democrats. He is a centrist to moderate Republican corporate Democrat. Many people don't remember, it didn't get talked about a lot. Obama, in his grand bargain negotiations with Mitch McConnell, he was willing to put Social Security cuts on the table. I mean, look it up. That was a fact. So in his speech, he's talking about Trump's attacking Social Security, Medicare. Well, I mean, it wasn't like he didn't say that in 2008 or in 2012, but when he was president, he offered that. Well, Barack Obama, we're coming up on the 10-year anniversary this coming week of the global financial crash. Not one banker was put in jail. Those banks are still too big to fail. Barack Obama had a perfect opportunity to go after that. So this isn't, I don't want to do a retrospective on President Obama's presidency, but my point is, I think it's a dangerous notion if you're just going to go out there like Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party was in 2016, and your message is Trump is a unique threat to the United States and the world, Trump is abnormal, Trump is racist, Trump is this, Trump is that, Trump is this, Trump is that. But what are you for? Because the Democratic Party, as of today, the Democratic Party's platform does not include Medicare for all. It does not include free public college. It does not include ending private prisons. It does not include cutting the military, at the least, the minimum.
Does it include ending private prisons?
No.
You sure?
Positive. Does not include cutting the military budget, I think, at a minimum by 30 to 40%. I could go down the list. It does not include those things. So I just don't want people to get suckered in based on the moment and the unique threat. I mean, don't get me wrong. Trump, I mean, he was loony then. He's even loonier than now. I mean, today he's talking about Jeff Sessions needs to investigate the New York Times. He wants Jeff Sessions to not prosecute Republicans or not investigate Republicans up for re-election. He doesn't understand that the Justice Department does not work for the president. Yeah. He is an authoritarian leader. I'm not minimizing Trump's threat. I just feel, based on the people I have met in Flint and East Chicago and St. Louis and Chicago, if people think just getting rid of Trump, putting the Democrats back in the House and Senate, look at their donor sheets. Yeah. Follow the money. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I don't feel like, I want to read what's this on Facebook. Melinda Cloud, she says, for the first time in my life, for the first time in my voting life, because every time I vote with my own conscience. I did not and could not vote in the last presidential election. Wrong or right, to some, I had to follow my ethics. I don't know if wrong or right is part of, I guess wrong or right is a huge part of the argument.
Squirrel Lips, thanks for the $1.99. Love the name too, Squirrel Lips.
Squirrel Lips on Facebook.
Some of these YouTube names are really.
Yeah. So, Melinda, I love you and I appreciate you. Thank you for voting. Yeah, well, I would say it's wrong. I mean, I didn't vote for years and it was wrong. I mean, people literally died for us to be able to vote. Like literally, it's not hyperbole. People literally were lynched, hung because they were trying to vote, and they were going out, and they had people picking them up to go out to vote. So we can't take that for granted. I have a tattoo right here, and if you guys can see, I don't know if they can see it on YouTube, but it says, "Never take for granted the sacrifices made for you," and it has a man hanging from a tree, and it has Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. The man hanging from a tree represents all the people that died, that names that we don't know, and obviously those faces you know, but the yin and the yang, so to speak. But I point this out to say that we can't get to the point and get so far removed where we don't take into consideration what people sacrificed for us to be in this position. So I don't want to get too caught up in that. So I only say that to say, yeah, it wasn't a good thing. You could have voted the Green Party, Jill Stein. I mean, vote.
Yeah.
Gotta vote.